Hello, everyone. Gianni DePoce here with TheoTRADE, and today is the 10th of September, 2024. And we have started off this week in markets with a pretty subtle relief rally. It's too early to tell whether it's going to just be a short covering rally or if it's the start of something new coming off of a higher low across the indices. Now, we're seeing some good things and some bad things in this tape, and I'll start off with the bad things. The bad news is that technology, which is the biggest and most important sector in the S&P 500, has slipped significantly in its sector performance rankings year to date. It is now sitting in seventh place out of the 11 sectors in the S&P from the start of the year. Over the last week and the last 3 weeks, the top performing sector has been consumer staples. It's down a little bit today. You can see tech is up a little bit today so far, but this overall is indicative of defensive capital flows. And then year to date, the top performing sector has now become utilities. So not something you usually see in a bull market. I'm not exactly calling for a bear market because here's the good news. The good news is that liquidity conditions are improving. We are seeing credit spreads between investment grade corporate debt and treasuries become narrower. So that says that liquidity conditions are improving. And this is likely in anticipation of the Fed rate cuts, which are set to unfold in about 8 days. The big question on the mind of market participants, of course, is whether we will see a 25 basis point or a 50 basis point rate cut. I think the idea of a 50 basis point rate cut could signal some panic on behalf of the Fed that, hey, that the economy is slowing down. We did just have the yield curve re-steepen between the 2 and the 10-year interest rates and the treasury curve come out of negative territory. That's a bit of a concern in terms of the potential for a recession to begin. But you take a look at the tape today, guys. Once again, Nasdaq leading to the upside. We saw that yesterday. Chips were down. They're back up on the day. Nvidia continues its range-bound action. I have been watching Broadcom. This tape, or I should say, this stock looks a little bit better than Nvidia or AMD or MU, if you ask me from a technical standpoint. Also, liking On Semiconductor down today. Not really the best example to show, but I think it's been building a nice base over a period of time and could have some potential in the near term. Let's take a look at some of the big tech names. Apple just turned positive on the day. Google as well. A little bit of a gap up from yesterday's lower close. Microsoft trying to complete a higher low as well. I like what's going on in Tesla. But my favorite name of the Magnificent Seven remains Meta Platforms. I think this has a beautiful base, months worth of consolidation, building up this momentum for what I think will be another leg higher in prices. So this is a potential market moving stock that can have a disproportional impact on the direction of the indices. But, just to check in on some of the other names that, we're in. Lifetime Fitness, that's down, but off the lows of the day. Planet Fitness, I like these gym names. Those are looking good. There's Cinemark as well. That's making a new high. And I have a position in IMAX. This one's down a little bit today, but it continues to coil nicely near the highs. I like what's happening in this kind of this sector of the economy. Entertainment with gyms and movies. Consumer discretionary is trying to come back. It has outperformed consumer staples this week, but over the last few weeks or months, that's not been the case. But I think right now the biggest thing is if we are forming a higher low in stocks, that would be bullish. But we need to see the S&P make a new all-time high, and I need to see the Nasdaq take out that high from August to start looking better. I'm still a fan of the biotech sector and what's going on there. XBI, IBB. I did come into this week pretty heavy cash after last week's sell-off. I'm open to initiating new positions in this tape, but I'm not exactly 100% confident in the direction of this market based on some macroeconomic factors, the sector performance rankings. You are seeing bonds outperform stocks. In 2022, you saw that stocks outperform bonds. They both were down, but we have long positions on the 10-year treasury note with a target of 116. You can see we're only about 15 ticks away from that now, so that's looking good. If you jump over to the Japanese yen, still long the Japanese yen here in the TheoTRADE chat room. This is the big question is, will another round of Japanese yen strength lead to a sell-off in markets. I think that most of the carry trade has been unwound, but it's something we need to keep an eye on because it does have the potential to create additional market turmoil, especially if we see the dollar continue to strengthen against the euro like we've seen over the last couple of weeks. I was of the persuasion that euro strength could be a tailwind for stocks. If we're forming a higher low here, then it still looks good. But I think we really have to be patient. It could go either way with these upcoming Fed rate cuts. We do have inflation data this week. I'm not really expecting anything earth-shattering to unfold there. If you take a look at crude oil, seeing a big break below support, this is also a concern on the recession front. When you see energy prices break down like that, usually a warning sign that something on the demand side of the equation is happening. I don't think this is so much a supply story anymore, but you take a look at XOP and XLE, the energy ETFs, they continue to have some issues. So we continue to see leadership in, consumer staples, been sharing a lot of ideas there. Telecom looks good. Verizon, I have a position in this, making a new high here. That's looking strong. I like what's happening here. I like the whole telecom sector. I think it's going to be another chapter in the artificial intelligence saga that we've not hit yet. You have these data centers that need to connect to each other with fiber optics. And, I'm not entirely certain, the details that are required to make this happen. But if we needed to update all of our chips to accommodate artificial intelligence, perhaps we need to upgrade the networks as well. And that could help the telecom sector. So something I keep an eye on. I still like the whole idea of AI getting into the whole biotech space and healthcare. I think we haven't really seen that full story unfold yet. But again, consumer staples and telecom showing some strength here that I like. REITs are looking good too. I think that's just off the back of interest rates coming down. So we're going to keep an eye on that too. Shared a couple ideas in the chat room for members, and I think that is a story that will continue going into next week and next year, not next week, next year. And I think real estate will be a really surprise performer for asset class performance come next year. So that's what I'm looking at right now. You can see gold and silver continue to consolidate. Gold's consolidating near its all-time high. That looks good, pretty good. Silver flat on the day. That could turn around pretty quickly. Our precious metal names. We actually had Anglo Gold Ashanti test our stop loss today, but it's back above there. So I'm going to give that a little bit more time. Maybe this is the capitulation bottom. Agnico Eagle Mines. We've been talking about these names for months now. You're probably pretty familiar with them at this point, but they're all looking good. Again, I'm just a little uneasy on the overall direction of the markets, depending on whether the yen continues to make a comeback. The sector performance rankings, I need to see tech doing better, as well as chips, the risk on growth sectors, consumer discretionary, stuff like that. And of course, bonds outperforming stocks is a bit of a concern at this point, but we'll keep watching and take the setups as they come our way. That's all I had to share with you this week. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you at the TheoTRADE Unlimited Trading Horizons live event in Scottsdale, Arizona. It starts on Thursday. There are virtual passes available. If you can't make it in person, I would highly recommend that you come check it out. It's going to be my first live event here with the guys at TheoTRADE, so I'm looking forward to that. And that's all for now, everyone. We'll see you in the chat room. Take care.